It's the Luke and Pete Show. Pete Donaldson with you. I'm joined by Mr. Lukey Moore of Passion FM on the South Coast. I'm from Demon FM, De Moffat University student radio station, where I never actually work for because they're all pieces. But Lukey Moore is here, showing all the professionalism.
Overlooking a talent of that considerable quality is,
I know, right?
negligent from Demon FM, I would say. And can I just pick you up on one thing, if you don't mind, Pete Donaldson?
Yeah.
That Passion FM 106.8 was actually based in Northern Hampshire, not the South Coast. So
I see. I mean, 106.8 FM. That's a pretty decent, if not a little high, FM frequency. I mean, I'm trying to think who would be able to. I don't think Japanese radios could pick you up, but I think maybe North American ones. You'd be right in the middle of the dial, baby.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so, because we all have different frequency
Ours
modulation
goes up to 108,
ranges,
doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're really quite high on ours, but I think the Japanese might be able to go either a bit higher or a bit lower. So either way, you'd either be right in the middle or off the dial completely.
Well, I'm just deeply concerned for prospective Passion 106.8 listeners and their radio ratings, because if you're going to say South Coast, people are going to be expecting to pick it up on the South Coast. They're not going to be able to do so. And there's going to be a bit of consternation about that.
They're found wanting, aren't they?
One of the little secret jokes I like about people just do nothing, the Corrupt FM thing, is that they list their frequency as 108.9, don't they? Which is way higher than you can actually go. And you only really get that joke if you're a radio person, which I respect. Oh,
there you go, yeah. The FM on a Japanese radio seems to go from between 76 to 90. You don't even get in the hundreds in Japan. Wow.
Well, I've got no chance. Passion 106.8, I got no chance of being big in Japan.
Way off in the distance.
I wouldn't have thought the student radios, student radio stations, going back, when I was, my brief sojourn onto Passion 106.8 would have been 2001.
Yeah.
You're probably not rolling out a student radio station on FM dial now, are you? Probably just doing digital only, I expect, DAB, and that's that, right?
Yeah. I mean, you'd imagine that the FM frequencies will be going cheap. Like, you'd be able to each have a little FM frequency, because people still have radios and stuff, and FM pirate radio stations are pretty easy to set up if you've got the energy requirements required. So I don't know why they're not allowing FM licenses left, right and centre, quite frankly.
Tell us about there's probably no appetite, because you say people have got FM radios. Have they really? Who?
I've just picked one up to check the FM frequencies on a Japanese radio
you've got
station.
one in your shed in your position as a noted tech geek and radio man.
Right, okay.
Is that really
fine.
Commensurate with like the general public?
Most people will have an FM frequency in their car. Almost guaranteed they'll still have if your car was made post 2015, there's a chance you might not have FM, but I think you still will, to be quite frank. And
Talk to me about the Demon FM energy. Did you go to interview there? Did you audition for a show? What's the vibe?
A friend had a punk show with his on-off partner, which I guess makes scheduling shows quite difficult when there's been a falling out every second week. And I sort of visited there and did some sidekick Simon stuff, but they were.
Did you really? So your sidekick journey started out on Demon FM.
19.
So you did actually get on the airwaves.
I sort of did a couple of squeaks and burps. That was kind of my long and short of it. But I would say that
has become your trademark over the years.
Student radio is a mixed bag, let's say. Very enthusiastic people. They all think they're going to go on Radio 1, but none of them ever do.
Well, there was a mixed bag on Passion 106.8 between people like me who kind of loved it, and liked sport, because I did a sports show, and then the proper guys who, and listen, I'm not denigrating them. In fact, we're probably going to hear from one of them in a minute in an email, or about one of them in an email that we've had in the inbox for ages that is now roughly adjacent to what we're talking about, so we might as well do it. Who, there's this guy, you're going to hear about him in a minute, called Darren, who would quite literally get up at like 5 every morning at university, right? And do the breakfast show on Passion 106.8 before going to his lectures from 9.
Right.
Every day.
Is he the fella who used to report pirates in the area?
He is. Well remembered. He is.
Yes.
So he used to make in his breaks between lectures, I would sometimes see him in the internet cafe, because people didn't have the internet at their homes then, as students, and he would be reporting reporting pirate stations he'd heard in the area to, is it the RAB? It would be the RAB, wouldn't it?
Would not be Ofcom? Do they not sort of deal with that? What's the
Maybe
RAB?
it's Ofcom. What's RAB? Oh, that's the Advertising Bureau, isn't it? That's different.
Yeah.
Would be Ofcom then, yeah. And even then, I thought, wrongin'. I quite liked him personally. I thought he was all right. But he was way into his radio, way into it. And our friend Rory emailed us about, he's called Darren Scott. His actual name's not Darren Scott. His actual name's Darren Broadbent.
Right.
But much like Dave Clifton, he obviously changed his name to a radio adjacent
more radio
name.
friendly name, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because, there's a reveal, isn't there, in Mid-Morning Matters when we find out that Dave Clifton's real name isn't Dave Clifton. It's Tom Berenger or something. And Alan just goes, you changed your name to Dave Clifton. And so it's a bit like that. That does happen. But Rory emails us, says, hello, gents. I was listening to an episode recently when you started discussing radio hosts who work under different on-air names. As soon as Luke mentioned Darren Scott, my ears pricked up. Darren Scott, I thought. Surely not that Darren from Mix 96, Buckinghamshire's best mix of music.
Yes.
They all have those taglines, don't they?
Yeah, today's favourite music was TFM up in the northeast back in the day.
What's Demon FM's?
Music with a sting in its tail, of course.
Oh, yeah, you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Power FM, where I grew up, was, I think, Hampshire's best music mix, maybe?
Right, okay. Yeah, Power FM was very much one of those stations that was very poppy, but at the weekends it'd have some silly sort of stand-up adjacent people doing a sort of star turn, doing a naughty little show.
They lent massively. They went massively into garage music. I remember that. Anyway,
right.
Rory
Nice.
says, lo and behold, it was indeed Darren and Katie at breakfast time. That of that fame. That name instantly took me back to a decade at a time when I was a fresh-faced 17-year-old clambering into a friend's newly acquired car in lieu of the dreary school bus and heading to Sixth Form College in Aylesbury. Mix 96 was our loyal morning companion, especially during the school run. The highlight of the breakfast show, without a doubt, was the £1,000 minute. The concept was brilliantly simple. Answer 10 questions correctly in 60 seconds and you'd bag a cool grand. For a group of 17-year-olds in 2014, even just a share of this was a veritable fortune. We fancied ourselves as budding intellectuals, regularly scoring 9 or 10 correct answers between us each morning when we listened along. Emboldened, we decided to ring in and try our luck. The station was as gloriously tin pot as you'd imagine a small local outfit to be, and over the course of 3 weeks, we managed to get ourselves on there at least 5 times by timing our calls to perfection as soon as the lines opened. There was one small hiccup, however. Technically, we were all too young to compete. Only one of our friends had just turned 18. Undeterred, the rest of us would gratuitously lower our voices and pretend to be our dads. Right. We never once considered what might happen should one of us actually win and be presented with the enormous check and clearly not be in our early 50s. At one spring morning, it was finally my turn to compete, so we pulled into a Tesco car park near the school. A group of us huddled around our phones. The 3G signal was weak, but undaunted, I assumed my new identity of my dad, Ian. The quiz began with Darren, the aforementioned Darren Scott, at the helm, but it all went downhill from there. The questions that day were impossible. Something about 90s Academy Award red carpet outfits and Scottish national parks, leaving me completely stumped. Excuse me. My once sky-high confidence evaporated, and by the end I'd scraped together a pitiful 3 correct answers. Crestfallen, I feebly thanked Darren and Katie for the chance. Katie, trying her best to be encouraging, said something along the lines of, well, everyone loves a trier. Now, I'm usually mild-mannered, but that morning my teenage angst got the better of me. Without even thinking, I snapped back, oh, thanks very much, little Miss Condescending.
Yes.
There was a stunned silence followed by Darren howling with laughter, declaring this was the best thing he'd heard on air recently. Upon a decade of reflection, I couldn't disagree more with Darren, and I'm ashamed by what was in fact my condescension. Darren eventually left Mix 96 in 2016 without fanfare. According to a report from the Bucks Herald, he didn't even announce his final appearance on the show out of not wanting to cause a fuss. After that mortifying morning, I more or less avoided Mix 96 altogether. Now looking back, I'm strangely regretful. Mix 96 has since been swallowed up by the greatest hits radio brand, meaning that a significant chunk of the Bucks' identity from the 90s and 2000s has been lost to the annals of time. It's been a decade since that fateful quiz, and in the grand tapestry of life, it's a minor stitch, but it stuck with me greatly. So much so that I've never contacted a radio station or podcast ever again until today. Thanks for jogging my memory. Keep up the great work. All the best, Rory.
Little Miss condescending himself. Wow. I mean,
I can imagine Darren finding that funny. I don't think Darren would remember me.
Darren comes out brilliantly here, I think, in this story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was an all right guy, but he was just very, very radio, and he's spoken a way on the radio that no one ever speaks in real life.
No, that's how you get your job on, Buckinghamshire's Greatest Mix or whatever the hell it was. I mean, that's
so you didn't have the confidence to go into Demon FM and say, "Listen, guys, here's my CD show reel.
Here's my show reel. Yeah, here's my escape tape. Give me a chance right now." No, I think if you had the gumption to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do a radio show. I mean, fair dues do it. I did a bit of, I did a couple of weeks of hospital radio. That was an interesting experience.
Oh, go on. Tell us about that.
It was at Highgate, and everyone was very lovely. It was kind of run by a lad who is also very lovely, big into his plane spotting, so I think that tells its own tale.
Why did you elect to do hospital radio out of interest? What stage of life were you at?
I wanted to get into radio, and I was still working at local government. And it was before I did proper work experience at a proper station, so I did that for a couple of weeks, and it sort of ran concurrently with my first bit of sort of cover, I think, sort of work experience cover. Anyway, and the lad who sort of ran it was he kind of he was a runner, I think, for a little while, maybe a couple of months, at Virgin when it was Virgin's a British radio station run by owned by Richard Branson, or certainly was. Now it's licensed by another company, News International, I think. And anyway, he'd done like a couple of months of running, and he under Chris Evans on The Breakfast Show, who was,
right.
To anyone who's unfamiliar, big swinging dick back then, left under a cloud, etc., etc. And he had like this grainy photograph of him and Chris Evans. We don't always show us it to sort of, prove that he was like, I was just saying to Chris last week, and I was thinking, what are you saying to Chris last week? It was a lovely bit of that. In the same way that I bring up Hollywood stars I've interviewed in the past, or indie bands, or you grab hold of it and you keep hold of it.
In the same way I tell everyone I've ever met that I've got a master's degree.
Yep, well, fair.
Everyone does that stuff.
To be fair, that's a lot harder work than going to the Soho Hotel and eating biscuits and interviewing Scarlett Johansson. But that's 5 minutes of work compared
until
to
you said Scarlett Johansson, I was thinking I'd rather be going to a lecture. Until the word Scarlett Johansson, I was like, no, I'll do that instead.
All right, fine. Absolutely fine.
But would it be completely kind of like totally emasculating,
right,
to spend some time in a professional environment with a woman as beautiful as that, and her be so not dismissive of you, but instantly forget you as soon as you walk out the room again?
I think that's coded into I think anyone who starts thinking that they are remembered, respected.
But, I think there's a bit of you that would have been, if I cracked the right joke here at the right time, she might remember me.
Yeah. Well, she famously, I've told the story before, a Irish journalist. I use that with the smallest J possible. She'd heard that Scarlett Johansson was potentially pregnant, and she turned up with nappies concealed in her dress, so she could pull them out, throw them at Scarlett Johansson, and get the shot. Doing? Absolutely mental behaviour. Yeah. Absolutely mental. So I think she probably remembers her, but in the same way, if I piss my pants, I've got more chance of being remembered.
You've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on down your pants.
Exactly, always, and in my heart. Where's that going?
Tattooed on your heart.
I'm doing.
But going back to the hospital radio thing, what were you actually doing? Were you just talking to the people who were convalescing?
It was just a lot of. There was just every sort of Tuesday night. It was just a lot of people kind of pissing about for about 4 hours, and it was. I would be surprised if anyone ever heard that, because it was utter shit. It's utter. I mean, at least student radio, they're kind of, one step on the ladder, but hospital radios, certainly where I was, it was utterly chaotic. Frequently,
isn't it just volunteers
offensive.
who love it because they love it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, they love it. Bit of camaraderie, bit of friendship. We once got to go. It was in the height of MRSA was like a big problem in hospitals for a long time. I think they've kind of got on top of it a little more, but still not amazingly. But it was in the middle of like a big MRSA, so we didn't go on the wards quite so much to get requests and stuff. But I mean, I'm fairly set because the actual listening stuff isn't like they're not actually wires; they're like really old school sort of pipes. So the speakers are kind of in the walls, and then they pipe the sound like these horrible rubbery sort of headsets. Isn't it really not great?
Yeah, but, I can remember they still had it at Hasler Hospital in Gosport, which is no longer there. I think when one of my family members was in there, I was visiting and I turned up and it was the headphones looked like stethoscope headphones.
Yes, yeah. They were really interesting. They look like the sort of things it looks like the sort of things your nan used to use to have a shower. They connect the two sort of. Well, the things you put on your ears. My nan used to have a pair that was like sort of cream rubber that you would put on the taps as a kind of mixer.
Oh yes.
And it looked very medical and pretty. Looks like it belongs inside someone. It's not right. So
But I want to say before we move on, I want to say that there's a lot of amazing people, not just in local radio, but in student radio as well. I was up at University of Cambridge a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, here we go. Turning on his original opinions.
I was just going to say
because he remembered that he visited a radio station.
Our colleague Finn Pete, who
30 under 30 Finn.
Yeah, he bails you out of stuff most weeks.
He does.
Saves your embarrassing moments on air.
Some of my gaffes
every week.
Some of my biggest gaffes.
Some of your own goals and gaffes. He was up at the panel. He was up on the panel there, and I said I'd go along and support him. And the head of Cam FM was there. Lovely fella. He's so passionate about radio, so passionate about young people getting into radio. I genuinely felt inspired chatting with him. He was so into it.
Yeah.
And we've had about 3 or 4 people at Stack from Cam FM who've come through and learnt a lot from people like him. So I think it's worth saying that, at its best, I mean, University of Nottingham's good as well, URN, you've got one down next to which is really good. There's loads of good stuff out there which teaches young people the basics and gets, really channels their passion. I think it's a really good thing. For us, it's been the lifeblood of our business, really. So we got to be respectful of that part of it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to listen to Cam FM right now, there's a show called Don't Think Twice. It's Ben and Luke, which I think is a great name for a show. Great,
sub me in.
Great
chat, coach.
Great chat. Great chat and great tunes from 2 best mates. Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
isn't
that's
it?
nice.
Don't think twice. Yeah. It's Ben and Luke.
It doesn't rhyme. It sets up. Yeah. So what they've done there is they've played on the Bob Dylan title. But right. You think it's gonna rhyme.
Yeah.
Like Don't Think Twice. It's Johnny and Rice or whatever. But it's not.
Yeah. Do you want to hear some other titles from shows on Cam FM? Alex's
Don't take the piss though, because it's a good station.
Alex's Aux Takeover. As in the aux cable. Yeah, nice. Earworm, that's fine. How about a little bit of experimental music on a show called Pulled Bjork?
That's great. That's great.
It's good.
Pulled Bjork.
And the shows, unlike a lot of radio stations, community radio stations, all of the shows seem to sort of just sort of on every day rather than having a different schedule every week. Yeah. So
it's got that university, it's got that Oxbridge money, baby.
Yeah, it's what you expect from a red brick, a red brick musical and radio institution. Right, shall we take a short break and chip off for a bit and then come back and then do our thing? Yeah,
because I just saw Battery Robot clunking around outside and he wants to come in.
I don't want you anywhere near us.
No, that's not right. I try to do. What the hell is that?
I don't want you anywhere near us.
What the? Oh, that's Blackpool manager Ian Holloway, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, we don't want you anywhere near us.
He's not Blackpool manager now, is he?
Ages ago he was.
I don't want you
Former Blackpool manager.
All right.
Who the hell do you think
he's
you are?
Swindon Town now, mate.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Who the hell do you think you are?
That's absolutely disgusting.
I like the little Ian Holloway. I forgot. I have no idea that I had an Ian Holloway. I don't even remember putting these on.
How dare you do that?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Right, we'll be back in a second. Terrible time for this to happen, Lukey Moore. Someone signed me out with the blooming look at your Google document. Unbelievable. I'm furious.
That is outrageous.
Absolutely infuriating.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to type my little password. I'm going to type my little password in here.
There's no way you can remember a password, boy.
I can if I take the old caps lock off. You know, a lot of people use Shift key to access capital letters, and I've always used that. Yeah, I've always used a double tap of the caps lock, and people really have strong opinions about the double tap of the caps lock. I've never understood why it's such an important thing.
That to me feels like deviant behaviour. I'd never touch the caps lock unless it's by accident.
Really? So you just hold down Shift and go, there you go.
With my
How
little finger.
Weird. And maybe it's just always been my vibe and my tribe, but people, when they see people doing it, like, what are you doing?
No, I'm Shift all the way, baby.
Yeah.
It feels to me that caps lock is a bit kind of old-fashioned now, but it doesn't think it needs to really exist anymore.
Like a carriage return instead of enter. I mean, when you press caps lock you start your sentence, you do have the option to write it all in caps. So
I know, which I don't want. I hate that.
Exactly.
I hate that. Right, where's Battery Daddy? Is he in? Did you let him in?
Yeah, hang on. Yeah.
Yes. Battery Daddy is here. Battery Robot is here.
Hi, Battery Robot.
He's got a new catchphrase, warrior, warrior, warrior. I don't know what it means.
It's a great catchphrase.
I hope it's not offensive. I think he's been on the dark web and that's what he's come up with.
What's he been up to? Battery Robot, what have you been up to?
Been to the Isle of Wight.
Oh, nice. What did you do there?
Black and shine.
Very nice. Speaking of things that sound like they might be offensive.
Right, Battery Robot, what have we got here? We've got a message from Stephen, and I'm seeing hands and I'm seeing batteries, so the batteries are coming back in. Love it. Dear Luke and Pete, out of fear of the Battery Daddy not being satiated, I would like to make my first battery submission. I work at a school in Bergamo and came across these batteries while inspecting a thermal temperature reader that we were using for an experiment. They are branded MXD Super Alkaline AA, and I think they may have a chance. I would also like to add that I was delighted by the mention of Bergamo in a previous episode, and particularly by Luke saying that the Maxi Bon is the best ice cream around, although my wife doesn't agree. It's a crime. They're not available in the UK anymore. All the best. Stephen, can we not get Maxi Bon in the... Because, I mean, them being unable to import, the short distance from France to England, lion-focused ice cream upsets me because I am still on the lookout for the appearance of the Lottie Company's celebrated ice cream Coolish, which is from Korea.
Yeah.
That I've still never found.
I don't know why you can't get Max Bon anymore. I love a Max Bon. For me, it's one of the best parts of going on a European holiday. And I actually tried to find one when I went on a football break with Brassel about a year ago, but I couldn't find them anywhere. To be fair, it was November and cold. Anyway,
I'm going on a Brassel sanctioned November football break, but without Brassel. Next week,
you go to Marseille next week, aren't you?
Go to Marseille, yeah. It was very exciting until NUFC.com or that's unofficial site, but the Newcastle United website starts telling you about what you can and can't do while you're in Marseille. You've got to meet at a certain plaza, and you're allowed to drink in the certain plaza. And
who are you going with?
Got to go, just myself. And you're going, and you've got to be like basically kettled in and shuttled to where you need to be, and then shuttle back out again, and it's going to be a nightmare. But
I love that you've elected to go on your own without even bothering to invite me.
Well, there is a spare ticket, but you will have to spend what I spent to get out there, which is an astonishing amount of money.
Why can't you pay for that as well?
What do you mean? Why can't I pay for that as well? Because it's not.
Pay for me.
It's hardly Christmas around the corner, is it? It's hardly Christmas.
Well, it's my Christmas present from you.
Oh, okay. Well, you can have the ticket. Just, you can't access it.
Thanks.
Get in your Volvo. Get yourself one of those little gilets that you got to wear to drive in France, and get yourself over there, for crying out loud. It's not that far away.
Yeah, I can't be asked to drive. I ain't driving. I'm not driving all the way to the south of France either. Fuck that.
Bonjour.
Anyway, Maxi Bon, yeah, great ice cream. I think if you were to do a Brexit campaign or a kind of Remain campaign where you're like, we're going to go back into the European Union, and everyone that votes yes back into the European Union gets a free Maxi Bon, I think people would be up for it.
Yeah, fair. Okay, I think it's absolutely fair. Yeah.
Anyway, Super MXD Super Alkaline.
Yes.
We're on the precipice here. We're on the cusp of a new resurgent battery feature because they are a brand new player, and it's great to have an Italian battery in there.
We are back.
That is the Battery Robot saying we are back.
How does it taste, Battery Robot?
Well, I'll ask him to gobble down on it.
Oh wow, it's hurting my insides. It's gone down the wrong way.
Poor battery robot.
Sounds like you after a Chinese.
He said, I had like a 3-day curry. I bought so much curry on Saturday night that Friday night. I was still eating it on Sunday evening. It's brilliant. Absolutely,
that's an absolute must,
brilliant.
mate. In my view, that's a must because
endless
it costs
curry.
so much money now that you want to get it feeding you for the best part of a week. I think
simply have to. But congratulations, Stephen, for that new player. Great stuff.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, well done. Sarah has got in touch. Hi, Luke and Pete. Hello from Atlanta. I am resubmitting these batteries I sent earlier this year during the worst work trip of my life.
I feel like we need to hear more about that.
Yeah, I know.
She glosses over that.
I opened the remote in my hotel room and found these beauties. Here's hoping these maintenance warehouse batteries are at least something. Oh, excuse me. Oh dear. Here's hoping these maintenance warehouse batteries are at least something good to come out of that week, Sarah. And he's got some lovely maintenance warehouse batteries. I don't think I've ever seen these before, Luke.
No, a maintenance warehouse, that's presumably some kind of department store in the US.
It's got to be like a B&Q or something, hasn't it? It's got to be like something that sells car goods and home stuff for your home.
Apparently it's owned by Home Depot.
There we go. Why do Home Depot need a sub-brand?
No idea. Anyway, Sarah, I mean, unless it was truly horrific and you don't want to share it, and which we understand, if it's like just general related terrible work hijinks, we need to hear more about your worst work week trip of your life. If it's like planes, trains and automobiles, then let's hear about it. But sadly, Maintenance Warehouse, they're not a new player. You're the third person to send those in. And if it's any consolation, I've seen by doing a search that you also sent them in May. Even if you had sent them in May, you still would have been the third person to send them in because they were sent in 2023 and 2022 already by Stanton Smith, the fantastic name Stanton Smith, and Amy Madry. So you're the third person to send them in, but thank you for doing so, Sarah, and I hope everything's much better for you at work at the moment.
Thank you.
Right, next on to Ben. Hi, Luke and Pete. Hope this email finds you well. It does. Hopefully I have a battery entry to recharge the battery daddy so it lives once more. Insert comedic laugh, Pete. But more than likely it won't be a new entry and it'll be another nail in its coffin. Here it is in all its splendour. I give you the HW or high watt battery for your consideration. Many thanks, a tired night shift worker and Ramble Patron member, Ben. High watt battery, HW, 0% mercury, 0% cadmium.
As we like to see. Does battery robot like mercury and cadmium or not? Is he more of a gallium man?
It feeds me, but I shouldn't have too much.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
fair enough. A bit like us with the old beer.
Yeah, he gets a bit fighty, to be honest. He's got some opinions in his data banks, better left kind of, wiped from memory. But sounds
like someone needs a racist defrag.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, a little Control Alt Delete on his little keypad might sort that out nice. Yeah, a soft boot.
Ben, thank you for your email. Hi, Watt. You are, I'm afraid, the 27th person to send those in. So that is a well-trodden path, is the High Watt. But it's still nice to have you taken an interest, and I hope that you get a bit of rest after your night shift. I did an impromptu night shift last night with my son, so I had to reschedule this recording because I was too tired to do it. So feel your pain.
Are you, when you've dropped a little one out to the nursery or wherever he may be that day, can you go straight back to sleep? I've tried, can't do it. I can't go back immediately.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi I have access to. The Wi-Fi I've access to is a bit like that. So basically, we have a system where if I'm going into the office, I take the boy in on the way. Yeah. And she'll get him ready in the morning.
And we take Marcus out of his night nursery that he lives in.
I get Marcus. So I drop off my son.
Yeah. Pick up Marcus in the night nursery. Yeah.
Yeah. Shove him on the back of the bike with his little helmet. And we cycle in. And then on the days when I'm not going into the office, I'll get the boy ready. And then the Wi-Fi I have access to will take him in.
Right.
And then if it's early, because the nursery opens at 7:30, and sometimes he wants to walk, so take him about half an hour to walk. So sometimes she'll leave at about 7.
Right. Okay.
And then I'll definitely go back to bed for a couple of hours if I need to. Sometimes I don't need to. Sometimes I don't feel tired. So sometimes I do. I don't have a problem. I've actually been very fortunate throughout my life, really, where I'm actually very good at sleeping whenever I need to, really, generally speaking. So I don't tend to like to sleep in the afternoon because it sends me a little bit, just makes me a little bit overtired because I'm such a good sleeper.
Right.
But in the morning, if it's kind of work hours, absolutely, 100%. It just feels like a little interruption in the night, I thought, and then you can get back to sleep. Yeah.
I guess you don't slam coffees like I do as soon as I get up, like within seconds.
I don't drink coffee. No,
that's a good point.
I don't.
All right, then. We'll be back on a Monday. In the meantime, hello@lukeandpeteshow.com is our email address for batteries and stuff. Let's keep this battery feature alive, for crying out loud. And do spread the rumour that Marcus goes to a night nursery. We'll see you on Monday. Bye!
See ya.